Why, you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. I'm sorry, I love you, but you are scruffy looking. Yeah, I know, you forgive me. If you're wondering, have I become a hat person? The answer is yes, and it probably for the foreseeable future, because I love this hat and it makes me feel like a gunslinger, and that's a powerful feeling. Pure joy. DIY friends, welcome back to my channel. I gotta say, I am pretty excited about today's projects because I have been working so hard to whip my living room back into shape after its original makeover 3 years ago. But one element of me is still missing, and to be honest, I kind of feel like it's been missing for some time. So let me explain. As we may know, I'm a bit of a nerd for many things sci-fi and fantasy.
That is brand new information!
When I started this channel, I wanted to share my passion to create a home that celebrated all the parts of me. I grew up with a nerdy family, but all I ever knew from that was if you love nerdy fantasy or sci-fi things and you did want to celebrate it in your home, that meant your home would look kind of kitschy or juvenile and not feel like the trendy spaces that we see in the magazines that, to be fair, I love. But like, we don't see that nerdy stuff in those inspirational pictures and magazines. And I love home decor and I love pretty spaces and beautiful things. So I wanted to make a channel that could help me explore ways to celebrate all of the sides of me that I love. And don't get me wrong, I feel like I've been doing that and I love all the spaces I make in my home, but much of my nerdy side has really come out in more dedicated spaces like my office. But you don't always have to have a dedicated space to celebrate these things. We can make nerdy decor pieces that celebrate all the things that we love in our living rooms, in our kitchens, in our bedrooms, and still have them look trendy and adult and magazine worthy. Well, at least worthy in my eyes. So that's what I want to do today. Let's get nerdy and let me show you how I'm going to do it in this space. So editor, roll the tape. Boop. Okay, so as we know, I just recently acquired this lovely dresser, now console dresser, for my home. It's lovely. I'm obsessed with it. I got it from an antique market and it's literally the perfect size, perfect shape for this like little vignette in my home. Now, I did mention in my antique haul video that my dream was to upcycle this piece, and honestly, since it's been sitting here, it's kind of like the look of it's really grown on me, but I do know that I can do better, and I have been desperate to bring a little bit of nerd into this space to celebrate my love of the world of Star Wars, so that is what we are going to do. And I'm not gonna lie, this dresser is not in the best of conditions. The top is actually like not secured to this and it's got a giant crack. We have some felt lining inside some of the drawers and even some of the drawers don't want to open properly. So before we do any kind of nerdy fun to this piece, it's gonna need a few repairs so that it doesn't look like it's been dragged across Mustafar and back. So let's go clean this bad boy up so we can get to the good part. Woohoo!
Before I could do anything to this furniture piece, we needed to take a good look at what state the entire piece was in first. It actually wasn't in terrible shape, and oh look, birdseed shells in the drawers. That's lovely.
What?
The main dresser looked in good condition on the inside, minus the top that was cracked off. Now the drawers weren't awful either. The good news was that only 3 of the drawers had a felt lining in it, but it wasn't going to be easy to remove it. I first started the removal of hardware. Also, friends, not sure if you noticed my cool new shop headphones. Yes, those jazzy orange ones. Fun fact, your girl just recently became an affiliate partner with IsoTunes. How cool is that? So IsoTunes is a hearing protection company that merges certified hearing protection with communication technology so that you have a safe and enjoyable and, well, productive experience in the shop. The audio is just super clear, but it's got this built-in tech to make sure that you're being safe in the shop. Your ears are safe protected from loud noises, and honestly, it's got so much more built into these. It's really cool. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty here, but I put a bunch of info and links in my description box, and if you are interested, I now have a link that gets everyone a 10% off discount. So yay to hearing protection and yay to being safe in the shop. Okay, back to the program. Felt removal was not fun. Most of it I was able to pull up in one piece, but it took a lot of effort to pull it out of those drawers.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Not gonna lie, I definitely felt some emotion seeing how much green fuzz was left behind. From there, I got my handy dandy orbital sander hooked up and I made like Tatooine and got sanded. I used a 220 grit on the exterior of the drawers and an 80 grit on the inside of the drawers, just attempting to sand away the remnants of what looked like murky swamplands of Dagobah. Oof.
What's the matter, my love?
I also took out my corner catfish sander. Don't ask me why they call it that. Maybe the shape, I don't know, but it was helpful to sand away the corner fuzzes. I did a light sand on the drawer fronts, but honestly, that paint was so thick and so layered and chipped that I didn't really want to push my sander to remove it fully, so I decided it was time to bring out the big guns. It was stripper time. Now, normally I would use something a little more eco-friendly, but I wanted this done quickly, so a more heavy-duty stripper is my go-to in these moments. It was especially needed on the top, which, oh my god, there were so many layers. And listen, I wasn't planning on bringing this back to a wood state. I am painting this, but as soon as I started this process, something inside of me took over and I just had to get it all off. It was like a terrible symbolic metaphor. This paint was episodes 1 to 3 and I just had to remove it. I'm just kidding. I love episodes 1 to 3 for its own reasons, but for some reason that paint just had to go. I just wanted a fresh start. Once I got the top down to what looked like the last layer of paint, I felt more comfortable taking a low grit paper and finally removing the rest. For the base, I wasn't going to be crazy and strip the entire thing. The paint wasn't nearly as chipped on this one, so I simply sanded the surface smooth and left it at that. After sanding, I added some wood glue and returned the broken top back to the dresser base and added brad nails to help secure it. Now we had that really deep, ugly crack on the top, and I wanted to make sure it was never going to be seen again, so I'm using a product by Dab called Platinum Patch. You see a lot of furniture flippers using products like Bondo to do the same thing here. This product is literally the same. It can adhere to a lot of materials like vinyl siding, PVC, metal, wood, brick, composite decking, etc. It can be sanded and painted within 2 to 4 hours depending on how deep your fill is, and of course just general temperatures and humidity level around you, but it definitely did the trick.
Good morning, friends. It's not a great day. It's pretty rainy, but you know what? Kenobi and I are making the best of it. We're out here, we're having fun, and we're just gonna have a beautiful, soggy, moody, transform a furniture piece kind of day. And I love that for us. Looked at the piece this morning, gave it a quick sand, and I think everything went really great. She is smooth as butter across the top. Now we get to talk about the fun part about this piece. When I think about adding nerdy inspired pieces in my home, I always like to be subtle on my design choices. You know, like take inspiration from elements in home decor that you like, but then twist it to play into the worlds that you want to celebrate. Now, when I first saw this piece, my initial gut thought like I wanted it to be one of those kind of industrial cabinets, you know, with the numbers running down the side of it, or you would see those like worn letters across it. I love a good industrial touch in my home, so I knew I kind of wanted this to be my direction for the style, but twisted to be more Star Wars inspired. And I think if you're like me and you just want to love nerdy pieces in your home but not be too kitschy about it, subtlety is the name of the game. So if someone who didn't like Star Wars looked at it, they would think, that's an interesting piece. But someone who does like Star Wars would say, aha, I see what you did there. Sort of like, if you know, you know, you know? Get you into the cool kids club, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in the Cool Kids Club. You know what? I have my own Cool Kids Club. It's my Patreon, and we're freaking cool, so pop over there if you like. Join the Cool Kids Club. We're nerdy. We love it. We celebrate it. That's the Cool Kid Club.
So uncivilized.
So we need to paint this piece, and to do that, I am using Dixie Belle's chalk paint in the color Caviar, which I love. I'm also going to paint the fronts of the cabinets in this color Drop Cloth first. But I'll explain why I'm doing this first in just a minute. Either way, we got the idea, we got our plan, so let's get painting. Yeah!
Now, before I started painting, I needed to finally clean this thing. I just started sucking up any debris with my vacuum, then went in with a special cleaning solution called White Lightning Cleaner. This is also made through Dixie Belle, but it's basically a solution that you mix with warm water. This cleaner is really, really good. It's specially formulated to degrease and just eliminate any debris from your furniture. I'm sure you could use any degreaser, but this one is especially a favorite of mine.
Well, I finished painting. Now it's just about letting it dry. So I figured we should go inside, Pop. Get your soggy doggy inside. Okay, stop wiping your wet dog on me. Okay, we're in the studio. Let's talk about how we're gonna transform this to feel more Star Wars inspired. Using my inspiration photos, you know, something industrial with the writing down each of the drawers and having some kind of numbering system, I was thinking what would be really fun to play into that Star Wars world would be to use a Star Wars language. So in the Star Wars world, there is a galactic alphabet called Aurebesh. And I was like, okay, this would be the perfect thing to use their lettering, their alphabet system to create something really fun on the front. And then it like plays into the world. People who know Star Wars will know that that's Aurebesh. If they don't, then it just kind of looks like some graffiti scribbles on a piece. And I was like, okay, I think I kind of like this. It is simple, but I do think that sometimes to be subtle, simple is the name of the game. Now, having heard that, if you're thinking, man, I got a bad feeling about this. First of all, trust the process. Second of all, I find your lack of faith disturbing.
This bickering is pointless.
So I went to my notebook and I just started writing all my favorite Star Wars quotes. And I thought I would share some because I know a lot of you, if you're Star Wars fans, are gonna love this. The most obvious, the most basic, cultural phenomenon one we can go with is "May the Force be with you," which ironically happens to be 6 letters and we have 6 drawers. There's also, I wrote down, I have a bad feeling about this. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. It's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. Never tell me the odds. That's no moon. I love you. I know. These aren't the droids you're looking for. It's a trap. Size matters not. Hello there. Do or do not, there is no try. I also really love apology accepted, Captain Nita. There are 2 Star Wars quotes that I absolutely love, and it's actually from one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe, which is Thrawn. If you have never read Thrawn, the book, please go do it, and do it in the audio. It's absolutely fantastic. I will link it in my description box so you can go check it out. It's very long, but totally worth it. But there are 2 quotes. Do you know the difference between an error and a mistake, Ensign? Anyone can make an error, but that error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. I don't know how that was his voice, but anyways, let's move past that. The other quote that I thought was just so good, he goes to one of the captains, "Learn about art, Captain. When you understand a species' art, you understand that species." That is so deep. That is so deep and so true. I have my Cricut here, which is gonna help me. I have some transfer paper, I have some non-permanent vinyl, and I got my computer. So I'm gonna open up the design space and let's get going. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I also urge you, if you are a Star Wars fan, tell me, who is your favorite Star Wars character and what is your favorite Star Wars quote in the comment section. Go.
So I decided to go with May the Force Be With You. I didn't need to overcomplicate my vision, and it just fits so nicely. I kind of felt like it was meant to be. So I downloaded the Arabesh alphabet onto my computer. I will link the site I got mine from in the description box. It is free. I sized my pieces correctly, and I got cutting.
Do 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 do. Bow bow wow 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 bum 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 bum. Okay, we have our elements. I think all we need to do is just go stick these onto the drawers, and then we can start painting over the drawer fronts with the black now that the white is gonna be underneath. Cross fingers this works out. Okay, let's go. Okay friends, so while we're waiting for that paint to dry, I wanted to get ahead on a small project in this living room. The last DIY project that I want to tackle before just like letting it rest and be, so to speak, and that's this guy here. So in my living room, I do have an open vent because we have open ceilings. I love it. It's a personal choice. I know it's not for everybody, but I personally love it. My husband loves it, but we do have this open vent, which I like the look because I feel like it brings in like an industrial vibe to the space, but I don't like that it's this nice silvery color. I feel like it really draws your attention to it, and I've always wanted to just spray paint it black. If we spray paint it black, it's just gonna kind of feel more aligned with the space and kind of disappear versus being such a like an open eyesore. I know it seems crazy, but I'm actually gonna spray paint it in place. It's far easier for me to mask off the space that I don't want to spray paint than it is to actually take this down, spray paint it, and then put it back up. It is just genuinely a nightmare, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna get some bags, I'm gonna mask off the space, and then we're gonna spray paint this and just be done with it. So I'm gonna get prepared and let's go make this black. DIY friend, it is raining sideways today. What a crazy storm.
Storm's coming up, honey. You better get home quick.
Very grateful to have a roof over my head right now. Okay, I still need to take off all the Cricut pieces that we put on yesterday, which look great, by the way. I did a second coat last night. Excellent. And this piece looks great. I'm loving it. I have this idea, and I'm feeling a little nervous that it might tip it towards the idea of being a little bit more kitsch versus subtle, but I'm gonna trust the process. I'm gonna trust my magic, and I'm gonna do this. So I was thinking how much I love this idea of this world of Tatooine, right? I was thinking about how it would be really cool to make this piece look like it actually lived on Tatooine. You know, it doesn't have to be like so over the top, but just like a little subtle hint. So what I have is two colors here. here. A brown and just a little bit more of like a mustardy color. It's very light though. And I am just going to subtly, very subtly dry brush this piece just to make it look like as if, you know, it had gone through like a dust storm or a sandstorm, and now it's like seeing those little ruddy edges. I'm going to just literally dip my brush in this and then get all the excess off in a little bowl here, and then we can just start dry brushing it on. What do you guys say? Let's go do it.
I gotta say, the dry brush highlights on this piece looked way better than I thought it would. And that dark brown gave it this awesome, worn, rusty look, which started to transform this piece to look like it literally could have lived on the Millennium Falcon or in a home on a dusty, sandy planet. I was just super happy with it. I try not to go overboard, so when I felt like there was enough, I removed the vinyl and it works so good. Oh man, I even added a little extra dry brushing on top of the letters just to give it that little extra worn look. Now to finish it off and give it a nice seal, I covered the entire thing with a hemp seed oil that really just made this piece shine. It just makes it feel so buttery and brings out all the great colors in the paint. And just to note that this oil will need about 2 days to properly cure. I was laying it on pretty heavy with a brush, but then would wipe it away with a cloth.
The power just went out because of that terrible storm I was talking about. So I guess we're proceeding in the dark.
Well, the power was still out, so I decided to tackle the hardware in the kitchen, being the only room with enough light to film in. This may be shocking, but I actually liked the original hardware that was on the piece. All of its scratches and peeling leaned into this worn look I was going for, but I wanted to enhance it even more. So using antique rub and buff, a bronze acrylic ink, carbon black acrylic ink, and an acrylic copper, I dry brushed a combo of these products onto each handle, and I was pretty thrilled with the way it was looking. Honestly, the best part about projects like these is there is no rule book or way to do something. Anything goes in an imaginary world like this, so I will always encourage people to just play and have fun with different techniques to make it everything you want it to be. While the hardware was drying, I decided to bring my drawer fronts inside to help dry, but also I wanted to get started on the next part. I'm sure we all saw this coming, but we know I don't believe in a drawer that doesn't have a fancy surprise on the inside. On Amazon, I was able to find this super cute R2-D2 geometric print that I thought would be perfect for the inside. Honestly, I wasn't in love with the sheen on this wallpaper, and to be honest, it didn't really stick the best to the bottom of the drawers. It's always a gamble when you buy products online, but I didn't have a better solution in this moment, and the print was cool, so we're gonna go with it until maybe one day I can find something better. Actually, funny enough, I did come up with a better solution that I do explain in my outro, so stay tuned for that because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this idea. But I think all things said, that paper looked pretty cool. And as a final step, I added that hardware back on, and I think I was done. Okay friends, let's bring this room together. I wanted to add in some extra nerdy charm, and I found this playful Star Wars print from Etsy that pulled in all the best colors from my living room and weirdly matched my stair runner perfectly. What are the odds? I also changed out my pillows for something I actually originally had, but I think worked way better with the color scheme now. My artisanal lamp that I love, and the squiggles kind of feel like sand dunes, you know? I also had these 2 Star Wars coffee table books that I decided would make a great addition. And of course, all the drawers got filled with my favorite board games, the whole reason for this dresser. Of course, I couldn't fit all of them, but I put the games we used the most in each drawer, and that was it. Now, as a reminder, let's see what this piece looked like at the beginning. Honestly, I really didn't hate the way it looked, but it was broken, worn, and needed some love, so with a nerdy touch, let's see it now. friends, I am so happy with the way this Star Wars inspired piece came to life. I love it in my living room. It complements my living space, feeding into that industrial look that I love, but it also is jam-packed with subtle nerdy fun that makes my soul so happy. Now, I didn't share this earlier, but I actually did add a little tiny Easter egg on the side of my cabinet, the Jedi Order symbol, which is one of my favorite emblems in the Star Wars universe, so it's just a sneaky hidden gem that's just for me. With the added poster and the open vent now black, this living room finally feels complete. Well, for now. Let's wait for the next trilogy saga, shall we?
Well, friends, there she is, my Star Wars inspired dresser. I love it. I think it's exactly what I wanted it to be. Simple, yes, however, subtle and totally not kitschy. Like, I don't know, I think it suits this room so well. It has that industrial vibe that I was going for, and it's got that Star Wars charm, and I just love it. I do think that we could do better for the drawer inserts. I was thinking it would be really cool to do like a checkered pattern on the inside of the drawers, but do it in a circular way, kind of like playing homage to the Jar Jar game that they play on all the ships, you know, with the holographic monsters. It's like, it kind of looks like a chessboard, but having that pattern on the inside of the drawers would be so dope. I hate when I think of these things after the fact, but either way, I just love it. And I love this Star Wars poster, my friends. I just think it's so cool. And what's amazing is that it matches all of the colors in my stair runner. Like, what are the odds of that?
Never tell me the odds.
I'm so happy that I spray painted that pipe black. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it took me that long to do it. It looks so much better in here, so much more intentional. But you guys should let me know, what did you think of this nerdy transformation? Would you create something like this for your own home? Comment down below, or let me know what was your favorite part about this flip. And of course, so much love to my Patreon. I actually have to thank my Patreon for this project, because there's a special someone on my Patreon that really pushed me and encouraged me to bring out that nerdy side of me again and do a project like this. So thank you so much. And if you're a big nerd and you love DIYs, then you definitely need to be on my Patreon, because we all are nerds and we love hanging out. So come join us. You will subscribe to my channel. And of course, my friends, as always, stay positive, stay creative, stay nerdy, and may the force be with you. Bye-bye. You will share this video with one friend so we can get more views. I don't know. All right, I'm done.